5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing a follow-up. I know you wait months for a podcast from me, and then 2 show up in a week. And I'm starting, I hope you can hear it. It's another banger. This is Graham Rabbit. These were like some ladies from the desert of California. Graham Rabbit. And this song is The Devil's Playground from the 2004 classic album. Music, my friends, to start a cult. That's my kind of music. You know, I referenced this. I shouldn't really talk about this legal things, but I referenced this in my February 2005 investment letter at Eclectica. I was in the process of quitting the London macro hedge fund shop where I was number 2. I was a partner, and very definitely, Odie felt like the devil's playground. No comment. Anyway, you know, someone in the mailbag from the last show asked me what the point of the show was. Bitch. Sorry, ouch. Fair enough. But in my defense, well, let me tell you. What was the point? It reminded me of a Salomon story. Salomon was the fixed income house on Wall Street. Michael Lewis, Liar's Poker, was based on stories around emanating from the Salomon trading desks. So picture this as was it the mid-1990s? Oh, I don't know. Let's call it a long time ago. And Trader Mike, my great friend, he was really good at what am I doing here? Am I playing golf? I don't know. He was good at golf. And so they've got an off-site day, money's involved, they're playing golf. And so Mike gets paired with the senior rates guy. The guy that has lunch every month with the chairman of the Federal Reserve. As in, the guy that has the best possible inside seat. And Trader Mike, he asks him, how do you find the edge in rates, in interest rates, Fed rates? Where are they going? And the guy looks at him. He's like, I don't know. I'm pretending he's holding a putter. He's looking down. And he looks up at Mike. And the guy looks him straight in the eyes and he says, rates are impossible to predict. And hose for birdie 3. I don't know. Think of it. The guy that has the best inside steer. I mean, who has the edge. And he couldn't make any sense of it. That, my friends, is the fucking point. You think following every data print gives you insight, when it most definitely doesn't. It's a rehearsed game that hoses you on fees, or you trade noise and you call it signal. It's a consensual hallucination. Now, this next show, which is very much the last show, again, shit, I'm actually doing, this is the next show. Feels like the Truman Show sometimes. Anyway, it's not called Truman Show. It's called You Don't Need an Edge. You need, what do you need? Can anyone guess? Anyone? Bueller. What do you need? You need disobedience. Because alpha, which is a Greek letter, which is used by suits in the city, in Wall Street. Alpha begins where permission ends. Like your style, your swag, your outperformance begins where permission ends. Oh yeah, baby. Now, this paper was inspired by my fucking great friend, Rick. R-Y-K. He's the genius. He's an artist. He creates these rings that I love wearing. And he sent me a WhatsApp message on Sunday night. And it's a picture of him launching himself over a 12-foot gap. I'm sure you'll be able to see it somewhere in the material. He launched himself as though he had a personal vendetta against hesitation. No helmet, no plan, no brakes in his head. Just fucking launched himself into the void. Full throttle, no pause, no second thought, just commitment. The raw edge of chaos. The raw edge of chaos itself. That's not some, believe me, that's not some calculated edge. That's real shit with real consequences. And that, my brothers and sisters, that's why I fucking love Rick. But he made me think of you guys, my little brothers and sisters. Because I don't think you're sitting there like obedient little bitches, glued to Wall Street screens, hunting for signal in the endless macro circus. I don't think that's you. I hear you saying instead, fuck their rational analysis. Fuck their well-formed arguments. Fuck their decimal point priests in $3,000 Gucci suits. People wear Gucci suits? I don't know. I don't. Although there was that time in Milan where I bought the silver plastic Gucci suit. Anyway, I was an ass. Mom, brothers and sisters, you're saying, fuck you in your 14 points. Not points, 14 basis points. What's a basis point? Basis point, Bueller. Basis point is 1/100%. 14/100% is not yield drift. And watching Rick, like Evel Knievel, launching himself, I had this strange thought. There's this crusty old European thinker. Do you call him an intellectual? What was it called? It's not porno, it's adorno. Not porno, adorno. Adorno. And he spent most of his life picking apart the modern psyche, your soul. And I reckon that fucker would have understood more about Rick's jump than the parasites on financial television pretending to understand the bond market. Adorno, he had a phrase for it. The moment when you stop standing at a safe distance from the void, from the world, that moment when you just say, fuck it. And he called it, what did he call it? He called it mimetic. Mimetic regression. I mean, a pretentious expression if ever I heard one. But keep the image of Rick launching himself. Because under pressure or ecstasy, had a lot of ecstasy lately. That's not a drug. It is a drug, but it's not a drug reference. Under pressure, ecstasy, fear. You know what happens? You can drop out of that polished fake version of yourself and fall back into something older, more primal, raw, less filtered. That person stops interpreting, measuring the storm like an agent of the meteorological office. Because before modern life turned everything into spreadsheets and forecasts, before then, you know what? We survived by becoming the storm, not thinking about it, not modeling it, not dressing it up with cute fucking metaphors about sticky bricks. We were the fucking storm. You were either the thing that moved, or you were the thing that didn't survive. But that old animal fire feeling within us, it got buried alive. So deep under layers of schooling, jobs, apps, algos, the dopamine of these huge platforms, and of course, the daddy of them all, central bank fairy tales. The system told you lot to be rational, to calculate every move, to chase meaning in every data point, to stay safe. And you know what? You all obeyed. And Rick's bike jump, that was something different. It was not conceived as like an Instagram fucking content picture. Rick is not he's not a humble bragger. You should check out his Instagram, however. You'll never find a picture of Rick, but you'll find the rings. Star Lingear. Star Lingear. Something like that, anyway. No, back to Rick and his jump. I don't know what it was. I'm thinking padded cell. I'm thinking the etiquette of the padded cell. And I'm thinking that's a metaphor, my metaphor for modern financial life. Rick was one guy stepping outside the soft prison of modern explanation. It was a finger to the man. It was a guy willing to be wrong on his terms. And fuck me, but damn the consequences. And that's why it feels so fucking good. Whether people like to admit it or not. Because the age we live in, it despises shit like that. It despises direct contact with reality. That buried fire within your soul has been turned and corrupted. It's been turned against you. It's feeding you pre-digested narratives, Federal Open Market Committee minutes, producer price inflation prints, gross domestic product tweaks. The suits, they want you copying their certainty, like the good little asset-light slaves they want you to be. That's the weak regression. That's scrolling for the next insight, believing the TV suits when they tell you 14 fucking points is a revelation, which is not. If you're not careful, you become the NPC, the non-player character. In their game, you're chasing phantoms, phantom cycles, phantom data, phantom consequences, while they collect the trade and the exchange fee. Their game demands that your life be buffered, narrated, translated, focus grouped, hedged, insured, and turned into a fucking panel discussion. The financial system wants men. I don't want to go all entertained here, but especially men. It wants them to become spectators of their own lives. It wants them standing there, hands playing pocket billiards. Do you know what that is? I'm sorry, I'm standing. I just realised I'm wearing my silk pyjamas. I don't have pockets. Yeah, when I used to work in London, the posh guys, have you heard of this? Like pocket billiards? Hands in your pockets swaying. I don't know what they're doing. They're spectators of their own lives. They're watching the screen explain what's happening instead of touching the thing. I'm not talking about their penis. Don't touch your penis. I'm talking about touch the void, touch the life. Do not become a spectator to your own life. Because look what it does to people. They don't act anymore. They process. I hate process. They don't decide, they consult. I hate consulting. They don't see. But they react to the official captions. That's a fucking weak path. My neighbours are hitting off again. I'm in the ghetto. What was I saying? I was talking about your eye must speak slowly for my American cousins. I'm talking about your manhood dissolving into their macro circus, becoming becoming another asset light. What do I mean light? I mean, you don't have, do you have any assets? Scrolling with the next insight, believing the suits when they dress up noise as wisdom. They say to you, maturity is distance good, intelligence is permanent irony good, safety, the highest good. Mm, I don't know, because somewhere along the way, distance becomes disengagement. Irony becomes avoidance. And safety becomes the only thing you optimize. You end up watching your own life instead of living it. That's so fucking weak. Of course, you don't notice it happening. You just become another knob end, trusting the same people who turn noise into a business model. Nowhere. The spiritual castration is no more advanced than the world of stocks and shares, where adult careers are built explaining trivial movements as if they were a message from God. A decimal shifts, a basis point twitches, a bureaucrat he clears his throat. Washington or London or Brussels. And the liturgy. Rise, go, the mass is ended. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm talking about men in expensive suits and mouse ears. I love it. Like, I took a flight from Glasgow to Paris last year, I think. And there were lots, I mean, it's meant to be beautiful, lots of working class families taking their kids to Euro Disney World. And all the fathers were wearing mouse ears. Once you see men in mouse ears, it's very hard to get out of your mind. Anyway, men, Wall Street men in expensive suits and mouse ears selling certainty on financial television. Threads appearing, notes being circulated on trading desks, words like re-acceleration, resilience, and softening labor impulses, arranged like flowers around a corpse. And the whole time, you know what? Price. What is price? Price is the fucking boss. It's the only thing that matters. And it sits there. It's like, it sits there indifferent. I want to say embarrassed about the circus. This should make you angry. Because the suits selling you this, they're not just irrelevant, they're fucking costly. Not just irritating little priests of interpretation, but they constitute the public relations department of a system that's priced you and you and you and you out of ownership. And then they hand you a podcast, not this podcast, but they hand you boring podcasts about personal discipline, how you got to do better. So think about it, they inflate the assets. They call it stability. The stability is keeping the assets expensive and you outside. And then they tell the people, you know, you, the one that's outside, the one that can't afford it, the one that's living with your parents, tells you, you've got to buckle up. You've got to improve your mindset. I mean, fuck. They've turned financial suffocation into a soft landing of, and they demand an applause. I'm like, yeah, thank you for fucking me. So yeah, back to my friend Rick. When he launched himself into that scary, crazy void, I did not see a trading strategy. I saw a wake up call. I'm not saying recklessness is good. I am not saying that. I'm not saying survival is overrated. Survival was the most important thing I had. I wanted to die another day. I so loved this endeavor. I wanted just one more day. So survival is not overrated. I mean, calm the fuck down, dears. What I see, or what I saw past tense in Rick's photograph was the living core of a person. I was seeing, I think I was seeing that the French say l'esprit, the soul of a person has to remain unadministered. Do not fuck with the soul. That's actually the one thing. I mean, this is very Matrix, red, blue pills. It's the one thing the machine can't deal with. I mean, it can absorb dissent. It monetizes outrage. It can turn cynicism and irony into a product. Think of that James Kramer inverse ETF, which shorts his longs. The system can even survive periodic collapse, but it bloody breaks down on when you have individuals who stop granting it any moral authority and just like, I'm closing my eyes. I guess you can't hear that. I'm closing my eyes. I've got my fingers in my ears. I grant you no moral authority. Message to self, keep away from the camera, too close. You see a person, you will no longer feel obligated to pretend that every data release matters. You will not bow to the expert priesthood. Those bozos who, basis points, I'm going to remind you, hundredth of 1% point. The system bloody breaks on the individual who says, show me the fucking money. And that's the real leap. I call that the ferocious leap. It's not obedience. It's not hunting signal inside their chaos, but it's stepping outside it completely. It's no longer calculating tomorrow like some terrified kid. It's a reset to the only thing that actually matters. Price. And that's it. No move, no meaning. Everything else is... I said that too quickly. I'm thinking about price. No price move. Honey, no meaning. Everything is theatre for clowns justifying their bonuses. Let's go back to Trader Mike. Trader Mike is 21. And the Salomon, the head of the trader desk, is like, none of it makes any sense. It's clowns justifying their bonuses. So again, remember, the only question, did the price move materially? If not, shut the fuck up. And forgive me, it sounds crude, but crude only to people whose business model depends on padding out this insanity. It's actually the cleanest. The rings. It's the cleanest intellectual hygiene I know. The the system keeps forcing you into false intimacy, irrelevance. It wants your attention consumed or trapped in permanent low-grade analysis. Do not be that clown. Otherwise, your own judgment will be so eroded that you can't distinguish between information and ritual. Silence of the lambs, my friends. So, what Adorno, the European intellectual, what he was getting at is simple. Modern systems, the matrix, it's clever. They don't dominate you by force, intimidation. They get inside your head with the dopamine and they shape how you see things. You get trained. You copy like kids with the parents. You copy their appearance. You copy their thinking without actually ever thinking for yourself. Shame, shame. Now, don't get me wrong. You will become employable. You will become house trained. But somewhere in that process, man, your soul is no longer your own. You'll find your soul is buried deep within you in his own personal mausoleum. Shame. But there's a strange dignity in anything that breaks the spell of managed passivity. And that's where I come back to something dangerous, something ridiculous. Even a middle-aged man on a dirt bike trying to leap over a gap that the younger kids in the neighborhood were like, no thank you, it's too far. Especially that, because finance is now institutionalized hesitation. I like that. When I like it, I say it again. I've got a great friend, Mr. Bell, and when he likes a song, he plays it again and again and again and again. It's a bit like kids. I remember my kids. We used to watch. We. I think I liked him more than the kids. Barbie, the Mermaid Tales. Oh my God, hallucinogenic wonder. Anyway, finance is now institutionalized hesitation, dressed as wisdom. Boom, baby. An entire civilization of men wearing mouse ears, of course, looking for permission. Look, please, sir, can I buy? Can I sell? Should I think inflation is sticky? Should I think growth is cracking? Should I panic? Should I, sir? Should I? That's why the only people worth reading these days are the ones who've walked far enough into markets to lose faith in the priesthood of explanation. Most commentary is just people explaining what already happened, pretending it mattered when it didn't. And if you build your mind around that, you end up playing someone else's game. So again, okay, hook. Conclusion. The game is not to become omniscient. Does that mean like all clever? The game, and not everyone can be all clever all of the time. The task is easier. It's to become the person that's harder to bullshit to be that person. And that starts with a kind of intellectual refusal where macro headlines, I'm telling you, they lose their authority. I'm like, most of the time I don't know when they've been released. Stop handing your sense of reality to men who've never risked anything except temporary embarrassment. Start watching behavior instead of commentary. Watch price instead of narrative. Who's trapped instead of who's talking? I promise you, everything else fades into the background. It doesn't make you anti-intellectual. Quite the opposite. It pulls your thought back from performance and it restores a brutal hierarchy, a demand for evidence in a culture drowning in good stories. Truth stops being whatever lets the most articulate conman take fraud and make it sound composed on camera. I don't think that's me. Truth becomes what survives contact with your curiosity. If you've got rapier, sharp curiosity, if you go, I've got another question, and another question, what? And I'm looking at the price. Truth becomes what survives contact with your curiosity. So again, let me end in my homily to this image of Rick in midair. Again, I don't think life should always be lived like that. I'm not saying danger is automatically profound. Far from it. I mean, the night he sent me this picture, here's what I wrote. I wrote, hello. I wrote, man, That is pure outlaw energy, and I love it. I really do. But Jesus Christ, that's flirting with gravity in a bad mood. 12-foot gap. Are you serious? I wouldn't even clear the idea of that. So massive respect. But yeah, that's the kind of story your bones remember, starting tomorrow and every day thereafter. That's what I wrote. To me, Rick and his crazy fucking jump is more honest than the whole fucking financial media complex. No fake wisdom, just bloody back to the wall commitment. And I think that's what most people are starving for now. Not more information, not another model. I mean, this is the whole problem with European politics. Most people are starving for not another smooth little sermon from a twat in a suit whose bonus depends on making confusion sound sophisticated. People want contact. They want reality. They want a voice that doesn't sound like it's being cleared by a fucking committee. And if I know you're one of the people that the machine, I don't know. But if you're one of the people that the machine, the matrix has left, asset light, feeling poor, feeling over-credentialed, but under-owned, and talked down to, how are they talked down to you? Class of managerial frauds. But do you know why I say good? Why, you think? Because you've got less to unlearn than they do. You're not defending a mansion of lies. You're just trying to get out of this thing alive. And so the game inverts. They want you rational in their terms, compliant inside their language. And you're not going to obey. Because every now and again, you're going to feel it. That brick moment where the story, where the narrative drops away and all that's left is scary reality. It's not safe. You're there, not because you're, I think this, it's not safe. You shouldn't be doing it. And yet you are. You mad little fuckers. You're doing it. And something in you it just says, go, launch yourself. No permission, no explanation, no distance. Just you and it. Destiny. Most of you will drift back to the screen, the Bloomberg screen, back to the commentary, back to the suits, turning 14 basis points into something that sounds like truth. And that's the tell. Because once you've actually, once you've seen it, the whole of the moon, the performance after that, it looks thin, fake, desperate. But you know what? If you can still sit there taking it seriously, still nodding as though it matters, buddy, you already know where you stand. You are not the player. You've become the mark, the stain, the fool. Good night, folks. Bisous and French kisses. Bisous and French kisses. Yeah. I have to say that the dear lady asking me what was the point of last week's show, she did say, well, she didn't have really any understanding of what I was talking about, that she felt that she could have listened to me on repeat all night, that she slept very warmly. And that is my wish for all of you. And so I'm going to end this rant. I'm going to suggest we end with Cheer Up My Brother by HNNY. There's a code name for a Swedish Stockholm DJ, Johan Sidoberg. This comes from 2015. I think it is a very smooth tune. So, bisous, bisous, bisous. It is the Acid Capitalist. I'm signing off. Hugh Hendry, St. Bart's. Good night.
understand why. Cheer up, my brothers, live in sunshine. We'll understand here all by and by. Tempted and tried, we'll live in sunshine. We'll understand here all by and by. Cheer up, my brothers, all by and by. All by and by. All by and by. Farther along, we know all about it. Along, we understand why. Cheer up, my brothers, live in sunshine. We'll understand here all by and by. Tempted and tried, we'll live in sunshine. We'll understand here all by and by. Cheer up, my brothers, all by and by. Cheer up, my brothers, all by and by. Cheer up, my brothers.